that what you just did is what you do at the beginning of every stream.
Dude, I'm ready, dude. I've been very into this.
God damn, I don't know. We can't start talking yet because I just took a hit, and I'm hurting.
I'm hurt.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep coughing, and I don't want to cough in the video. I mean, I could mute my mic, but
wait, hold on. Watch my screen for a second. Tell me if it's better with that light on or off.
Okay.
Better with that light off. Way better with that light off.
Yeah, I think it is because it focuses the light more in the room you're in. I gotta fucking. My room's too fucking bright. All right. Oh yeah, we're streaming already. Duh, I forgot.
Gotta get the intro ready, dude. Painting ceilings, worst thing ever. I literally never want to paint a ceiling again ever.
How did you start already?
Yeah, I started one section of it. I'm gonna only do one because I have those columns.
Are you doing it by yourself?
Yeah, I mean it's not like
sucks.
it's not like it's strenuous. It's just awkward.
Yeah, well, you're fucking painting over. You got the big long thing, or are
Yeah,
you
I
up
got
on
it.
a ladder?
No, I got a stick. I'm gonna hit the ladder on like certain parts and roll it. But,
Yeah, but you do.
I started on the ladder to do the edges. That sucked.
Well, you have to, right? So, like you said, so you can be precise, but you can get that big middle section with.
Yeah. Well, the best part is the walls are just primed, so it doesn't like I don't have to be perfect. If it gets on the primer, who cares? White's white. It's going to be colored anyway. But it's just hard to get the rollers up against the wall, so you want to at least give yourself like an inch or so you don't have to go all the way.
Right. Can you pull up my stream, Jamie? I need to get something to put behind me so
Yeah.
I can block Jamie's screen. But
I was just going to say, dude, one day watch one of our videos is going to be taken down because there's going to be something copyrighted on Jamie's screen.
in our first long stream, she was watching something and I consistently was like going like this. And then I was like, oh, look, now she's got the stream in the background.
Oh, yeah, Jamie!
You can keep watching your show. You don't have to. You hear me? Yeah. Or you could just watch our stream if you want. It doesn't matter. I can't hear it. All right, so let's get going. So where do we want to start here? Right. Oh, right. So we're pretty sorry. Not pretty sorry. Were we very sorry, or were we
extremely heartbroken?
What's going on, guys? We are extremely sorry and heartbroken that this video is late. I mean, we need to be better than this. The game was yesterday. It is now noon the day after, and we are just putting up a video, so we need to get our shit together. Now, I have an explanation. Okay? Kinda. We probably should have made a video last night, but we were busy, unfortunately. So we planned for this morning, and I was like, okay, I'm going to mow the lawn real quick before we make a video. I go out, get the lawnmower, it's 8:45, 9 o'clock in the morning. Figure it's going to take me half hour. I'll be able before 10. Video will be up 10 o'clock, 10:30, Quick, easy. Well, I bring the lawnmower out, give it a couple pulls, and I hear something weird. So I flip it over, and there's like a bunch of string that someone must have hit wrapped around the blade in the center, so I had to cut it off. And as I'm getting a knife and coming back and I'm looking at this thing, I realize it is infested with ants. The lawnmower's old, so it's got like the caked up grass underneath, right? And it basically like turns to dirt after a while. And I didn't know this was going on, I don't mow the lawn that often. Usually my dad has one of his guys from his business mow the lawn. So anyway, I'm like, oh crap, I gotta clean this out, So I have it flipped over and I'm getting a stick, cleaning it out, trying to get all the ants. And now there is not hundreds, probably thousands of ants everywhere, dude. Like the ants are all over the lawnmower. They're up the handle and everything. It's just like an easy push mower. It's not a ride mower or anything. So they're covering this. And I'm like, oh my God. So I go with the leaf blower. Now I'm using the leaf blower to blow the lawnmower off with the ants, and they're hanging on for dear life. So I gotta like get them from different angles and stuff like that.
Extreme.
Right? It's a lot, dude. So then I stopped, and I'm like, okay, like it's good. And then they keep coming out from everywhere, and I'm like, oh my God. So I keep blowing them off, and I'm like, all right, I'll give it a couple minutes, come back, do it again. Now I'm 20 minutes, 25 minutes into cleaning the lawnmower off. It's almost 9:30, 9:20, whatever. And I'm like, oh, I should be almost done with the lawn by now. Well, I finally got the ants to like chill. There was a couple still crawling around, but I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna start mowing. Now, this is the great part, because the lawn hasn't been mowed in 3 weeks.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I was gonna do it last weekend and I forgot. And then I didn't have time all week, so I was like, oh, I'll do it next weekend. And then yesterday I was like, holy crap, dude, we're growing hay. So I get the lawnmower going, and I do 2-3 passes around the outside, and she's struggling, man. She is struggling. And she's bogging down, I'm like, bog deep, baby. And she's like, nope. And she's bogging down. So by the way, here's my cat.
Cat shot.
So anyway, I could say something else, but that's not right. So the lawnmower's bogging down, and she shuts off. I'm like, what's going on? And it's because like it keeps getting clogged up, and I'm trying to like shake the lawnmower a little bit, and I think I like shook something inside and blocked the fuel going in, and it just like wouldn't take the fuel, because every time I'd start it back up, it would just die right away, like it wasn't getting gas. So now I'm like shaking it some more, I'm not super mechanical with lawnmowers or anything like that. I just like watch videos and work on my car. That's it. So anyway, I'm priming it, starting it back up, starting it back up, and eventually she just started running again. I was like, all right, bog deep, brother. So we started mowing again, and dude, it just took forever. The grass was so high. I had to do so many awkward passes to get the grass to like spread out somewhat evenly, and it was just struggling. So I'm gonna have to do it again tomorrow, because it's like that bad. But anyway, now that that's out of the way, let's get into the real problems we have. And, unfortunately, we have been knocked out of another tournament this summer. The United States men's national team is not in the greatest place right now.
No, that was poor showing. Poor showing, especially considering 7 goals, 1 conceded in the past 2 games. Not even to threaten Morocco that was a bad game. I'd be the first to admit that was a bad game, bad watch too. It was even a struggle to watch.
Yeah, so I I made a mistake the other day and said we're gonna win. I think I underestimated Morocco, and then I turned the game on and I was like, oh crap, that's Hakimi from PSG. The guy that was leading their World Cup team, and I kind of realized that probably is their World Cup team minus a couple players. And it was. And we looked okay for a couple minutes there. Had a couple threats and at the beginning of the game, but they ended up getting that one, and it was just all downhill from there.
Well, it's funny you said that because they ended up getting that one, and it went all downhill from there. I do have to say, not that it would have made any difference, but those penalty calls, both of them, were extremely egregious. It wouldn't have changed the outcome of the game, obviously. I mean, we lost 4-0. It wasn't even close. But those two penalties were extremely egregious. That first one, I don't even think that was a penalty. I think that was a very harsh penalty.
Is that the one with Robinson?
Yeah, where three players went all for the ball, and Robinson, literally 3 legs. Everyone's flying in, and Robinson kicked one of the legs on a 50-50 ball. No one had possession, and the ref called it a penalty. Even Howard in the commentary said by the end of the game, quote, "This ref's having himself a day." By the second penalty, he said neither of these should have even been penalties.
Yeah, the first one was a little questionable. I'm not going to lie. I do kind of agree with that. I was a little disappointed with our defenders overall. Robinson didn't have the greatest game, and that was just like kind of the first big mistake. And like you said, it was like a coming together of all 3 players.
Oh, no, I don't think it was Robinson. It was Harriel, actually. Both penalties were on him. He had, 2 penalties in a World Cup quarterfinals is like, you can't have much worse of a game as a defender.
In an Olympic quarterfinal, but yeah.
Yeah, right. So that was brutal. The second one was actually mind-blowing that he called that a penalty. That was the most wild thing. His arms were tucked in. He went like this to turn. His elbows tucked in. The ball hit his hand. And the ref immediately called it a penalty. Went to VAR, checked it, and even called it a penalty. So 4-0, 2-0, it doesn't matter. We still would have lost, but when a penalty happens early in the game, I think that first penalty happened within the first 25 minutes. You just saw the team became instantly deflated.
Yeah.
Instantly deflated. In the past 2 games, we were on the front foot the whole entire time. The only time this whole tournament we were playing behind the 8 ball was against France, and we lost 3-0 to France. So one thing I wanted to ask you about and see what you noticed is I like Mitrovic. I like the direction that our team is in. I like these young kids, but one thing I noticed is nothing against Zimmerman, nothing against our captains, nothing against the older people like Mihalovic. There was no real leader, in my opinion, that was able to rally the troops and been like, I've been here. I've been in way worse situations. We're fine. We're only 20 minutes into the game. Everyone calm down, rally together, play our football, and continue. There was not that presence of someone who's been in this position before to calm us down. Even our coach really is young and has never really been in these positions before. So I think from that first penalty on, it kind of showed where we might be lacking, at least in our youth squads, real leadership. And I just wanted to see if you agreed, if you had a different thought. But I feel like a lack of leadership played a huge role in that 4-0 loss.
No, I do agree, actually. One of the leaders on our team was Walker Zimmerman, and he did have a good game yesterday, but you can't do it by yourself either, and you have to rally your team behind you. And I just think that, like you said, it's just the team just snowballed downhill from there. Everyone gets frustrated, and I mean, we've all been there. We played sports, so we know what it's like when you're down and you're not playing well, your teammates aren't playing well, and you're not used to this, and you're playing against a team that you probably also underestimated because, we're the United States of America. I said this in our last video. We should be number 1. That's our thing, right? Like, we should be one of the best in the world. We're the best in the world at every other sport. We should be the best in the world at this sport. So we're not, and we need to get there. And I told you, right, you asked me, is there any pressure on these players? And I said, I think the pressure's on themselves. And, they expect to go out there and win. They expect to go out there and play really well. We're playing Morocco, we're the United States. We need to go win this game. And then all of a sudden, you're playing against these guys that are playing at some of the biggest clubs in the world, like Villarreal, that their striker who scored like 2 or 3 goals, the dude isn't the best striker in the world, but he's better than any striker on that team that we put out there yesterday. So
Agreed.
I think some of the players looked a little shell shocked, especially some of the younger players like Harriel or whatever his name was. You said our right back. He had a terrible game yesterday. That guy realized that this is some young kid who, the left winger. He realized this is some kid who thinks he's better than me, and he's not. And he put it to him all day long. And even Tolkien was playing okay, but he got beat one time there, and there was a goal. Now, I actually
roasted him, dude. It wasn't even get beat. Like Hakimi made him look like a fool on that third goal or whatever it was.
He did, yeah.
I mean, but that's the difference between a Red Bull starter and a PSG starter.
I will say this though. I watched that back over because it's Tolkien, and I was like, man, what did he do wrong? And that started because our right back, Harriel, or is that his name? What is his name, Vinny?
I'm pretty sure it's Harriel, dude.
If we're saying his name wrong, I'm gonna feel so bad. Olympic team.
He plays on the Philadelphia Union.
Does he? Well, we'll get back to his name here in a second. But anyway, that dude went all the way upfield, got beat, and then left our defense in a 3-back. Walker Zimmerman, or Robinson
Nathan.
or Walker Zimmerman slid all the way over into right back, and then Tolkien had to come play back post. And like you said, he got beat by Hakimi. It is what it is.
It's Nathan Harriel, yeah, on the Philadelphia Union.
Nathan
I knew
Harriel.
I wasn't tripping.
All right, I'm just making sure we're saying the right name. I'd feel bad if we're saying his name wrong.
You know what was the worst part about that third goal? It wasn't even like a good shot. It wasn't a rocket. It was just placed well into the corner. It wasn't fast. It was just he beat Tolkien, and then all he had to do was slot it right past our goalie. You can't even blame Schulte for it. There's literally nothing he could have done about that. So, it's upsetting. And then they had the fourth goal, the penalty again for a handball. That was disappointing. One good takeaway I did get out of this game, though I got to admit, it was a tragedy the whole entire time. I don't think we really did anything well. We never really posed any serious threat. I think one time Aronson got in on a cross and he missed wide, but it was offsides anyway. And at that moment, I was like, oh, wait a minute. We're showing signs of life. But from then on, no life. We were dead.
That was in the very beginning of the game, right?
It was like right after their penalty, something like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe right before. But
we looked good at some points, but in that second half, we were just already so down, it was over. So
well, and what's funny? A lot of the reports are saying that the key thing between the Moroccan game and the French game is that the second half was a tragedy. We just didn't come out. Now, is that due to coaching? Is that due to inexperience? Is that due to a lack of real leadership? Who knows? I can't say. But one good thing, maybe you saw it, maybe you saw it differently. Through all of our games up until that Moroccan game, and including that Moroccan game, our set pieces are extremely lethal. We almost scored off of a set piece. Someone hit it, I think it was Mihalovic, curled one back post, Zimmerman was free, headed it back across, and then, we couldn't finish the goal. That might have even been the one that Aronson missed. I could be wrong, don't quote me on that, but both commentators, Tim Howard including, kept bringing up through all the matches that our set pieces are really good. So that's something to hang your hat on. There's whole Premier League teams, at the highest level where their game is, if we get a set piece, we have to make the most of it, because that's where our goals are going to come from. You hear all the time people talk about having the most set piece goals in the league. To be able to actually be a threat off a set piece is something to build upon. So even against Morocco, where we were getting beat, even against France when we were getting beat, to see that we're able to put the ball in dangerous areas on free kicks and get on the end of them, whether it's a goal or not, is extremely, extremely promising in my opinion. I don't know if you felt the same way or you had any thoughts.
No, I do agree. There was especially set pieces. We had some really good set pieces that almost ended up in a goal. I mean, we just need to finish. That's the thing, right? Like, if we finish early in the game and it's 1-0 us or 1-1, that game could look completely different. That's huge for morale. That's huge for everything. So.
And it's funny because, we're both, pretty in agreement that our set pieces were pretty good through the entire Olympics. I think the statistics were 9 corners for Morocco to just 3 for the United States, which also shows that we really weren't attacking too hard. Usually teams that are on the front foot, they get tons of corner kicks because you're constantly in their box, you're constantly taking shots, getting deflections, whatever it may be. We only had 3 corner kicks like the entire game. Now, for a team that's good set piece wise, you have to do better to get those set pieces, to get the easy services into the box. And Morocco, maybe good scouting on them. They might have said, hey, dude, these guys are pretty lethal from corners. They're lethal from set pieces. We have to make sure if they drive the byline that we kick it out of bounds instead of behind our net, or don't let them drive the byline at all.
Yeah. I really think a lot of our problem lied in our midfield yesterday. Like you said, we didn't have many attacking options. I feel like every time we would get the ball moving, one of our midfielders would get closed down on and they would make it just a quick pass and give it away. The only person who looked good, in my opinion, was Paredes. That dude, he was pissed at one point too, because he was like, what are we doing? You know, and he actually still looked good, but he was doing a lot of the stuff by himself. And, you know, you can't beat a world-class team like Morocco, who ends up in the semifinals of the last World Cup, when you're playing like that. You know, you have to come better prepared for something like that.
You're right, and I think there's a lot to build on. I think that, we talked last video about players that are definitely going to be called up. I still think regardless of that result, there are plenty of players that are going to get called up. I still think even with that result, that Mitrovic should be considered for our actual, top flight national team, the 100%. I don't think that that result against Morocco has any bearing on him as a coach at all. They were talking about tired legs. You're talking about Moroccan fans travel. Props. I want to say props to Morocco. You guys Morocco's becoming a serious threat in soccer. I don't know much about them, but based on the last World Cup and this, they deserve to be a top 10 team in the world. Seriously.
They're great, seriously.
Yeah. They looked insane. And Moroccan fans travel. Props to the Moroccan fans. I guarantee you,
that place 90%
rocking. 90% of the people on our team have probably never seen a crowd like that. I've never been in a stadium that full, and I've never heard how loud that was. I mean, there was reports that the Moroccan fans were throwing parties outside all day long, early in the morning and everything. So there could have been that fear factor of young kids. You're coming from the MLS. We talked about how Red Bull's Arena has a problem selling out tickets. You're going from 10,000 people in Harrison, New Jersey to 40,000 people in Paris. That's a huge mental thing. And again, it goes back to what we talked about earlier with the leadership. Do you have the person that's going to be like, dude, this is nothing. I've been in the Bernabeu in a Champions League quarterfinals. We're fine. This is nothing. Drown it out. Hakimi, after he scored, or after they scored the penalty, I don't think Hakimi took it. I think it was that other guy, Rahimi. You know what the first thing he did was? He went like this. Telling his team, yo, relax. It's only one. Don't go celebrating like crazy. We still got 80 minutes left in this game. Everyone relax. We didn't have a leader where after they converted the penalty that turned around and said, yo guys, everyone relax. It's fine. We'll get the next one. Hakimi showed what a real world class leader is like, and showed that that's potentially what we're lacking at this level. I think Pulisic is probably that kind of leader, but he wasn't there, so you can't hang your hat on that. So it showed, and I don't know if you saw, you mentioned Paredes. My favorite thing about the whole thing, I don't know if you watched the end of the game when Morocco was celebrating. Paredes was on the ground bawling his eyes out, dude. He was bawling. Hakimi went right past his teammates celebrating, walked right over to that kid, squatted down next to him, hugged him, rubbed him on the back, patted his head, and talked to him for like 3-4 minutes. Probably saying like, yo, you're good, dude. Don't let this get you down. You're going to be better. I'm going to see you in the World Cup. I'm going to see you in the next Olympics if I'm lucky enough. I will see you. Like, you're fine. And he grabbed him and picked him up off his haunches and picked him up and said, you're good, dude. Like, patted him on the back. That's leadership. That's a guy who could recognize quality, knows that Paredes kid is insane, and saw that he was heartbroken and said, dude, this is just the beginning. And that warmed my heart. I have respect for Hakimi
awesome.
after that.
I didn't see that. That's awesome.
It was a beautiful thing. The Moroccan the team's going crazy. They're celebrating. They're spraying water, and Hakimi just walks right over to that kid. I'm like, that's what it's all about. That's the
beautiful.
soccer family. So it stinks. I think we have a lot of growing to do. I think we have a lot of building blocks that the federation could build on, and I still think we have a bright future. I don't think this deters me from believing that we can be a threat.
That's what I was thinking as you're talking. I'm like, but we do still have a bright future. We have some really good young players here who can definitely slot into our national team in the next World Cup if we need them, and I'm excited to see where they're gonna go.
Yeah. So, just to wrap it up here, I don't know if you really got anything else to say, but I just want to throw out there semifinals. France is playing Egypt. Dude, I don't know anything about Egypt, but like they're doing it, man.
Is Mo Salah playing on Egypt right now or something?
I didn't watch any of it, but I will say 5-4 on penalties. That's pretty clutch. France beat Argentina. That was a wild game. Fireworks at the end. Little fights going on. Fans going wild. We knew that was going to happen. That was definitely a marquee matchup. Then in the other game, both of the games are Monday afternoon. The other game is Morocco-Spain. That's going to be a banger. Yeah. Morocco-Spain is going to be a banger. Right. Morocco-Spain, France, Egypt. You got any predictions? Who's going to the finals?
Well, I mean, honestly, I'm sure Spain is like the favorite because they just won the Euros, and I mean, like, the whole country's on such a high right now winning the Euros, and I mean, the players are obviously world class. Morocco's really good though, so that's gonna be a really good game. But I think Spain might take it just because of like the morale that whole country is going. The morale that the whole country has right now going into this game after the Euros, and their fans are gonna show out for that game. That's for sure. That's 100%. Gonna be a wild game. So, and then I would not be surprised if France destroy Egypt in France. And then to see France and Spain in the finals in Paris, again, the Spain fans, they're going to show out, that. And, of course, the French are going to definitely be there for their team. So I cannot wait to see what's going to happen. It feels like a Euros all over again. But obviously there's 2 African teams in the semifinals.
Yeah, no, I could agree. I would say pretty much in agreement, though. My head says that you're probably most dead accurate, but my heart at this point, dude, I want Morocco to go all the way, man. I really do. Dude. I really do. They're insane, man, and they deserve it. They got robbed by Croatia. They couldn't even finish 3rd in the World Cup. 4th, nothing wrong with 4th, but they walk away with a gold medal, or they walk away even with a silver medal. That's massive.
Yeah.
So my heart wants it to be Morocco, France. My brain agrees with you, though. I think logically it's France, Spain.
Let's also give some real credit here, though, to 2 African teams in the semifinals here in the Olympics. Like, this is like a little mini World Cup, basically. And, Africa's showing up, dude. And Morocco, for sure, like you're saying, they're an insane team. And to Egypt, too, clearly. Mo Salah is not playing for Egypt. I have not watched any of their games, I'm not going to lie. So I do not know who's on their team or how good they are, but clearly they're good if they're in the semifinals. But very cool to see, 2 African teams and 2 European teams.
Yeah, it's actually really funny.
Not there, though.
It's actually really funny, dude. I mean, think about it. No South American teams. Argentina's gone. Paraguay's gone. So you got Europe and Africa. So props to all those guys.
Maybe that's the future.
It could be. Real quick though, who do you got medal wise? Gold, silver, bronze. Where's your head at?
Oh man, I don't even know. Well, so if I said, let's say, Spain and France are going to go to the finals.
Yeah.
Then I think Morocco take bronze in the 3rd place game. And then, I don't know.
It's a tough one.
I really have no idea. Just because I have to choose, I'm going to say France take the gold because they're in Paris and Spain take the silver. But I don't know, man. Egypt could take the gold. Who knows? These games are actually insane.
Yeah, you got a good point. Just to be that guy, though, I'll stick with my heart here. I would say France gold, Morocco silver, Spain bronze.
Yeah, I can see that too.
That's where I would definitely be out. Shout out to all the teams left. Honestly, it's a huge achievement, especially for countries like Egypt. That's massive, and looking forward to Monday for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, make sure everyone watches these games because we all know in football anything can happen, and these are going to be some wild semifinal
Dude, it could be
and
Egypt.
final games.
It could be Egypt, Morocco, full Africa finals. That would be insane.
Yeah, that would be actually insane too.
That'd be huge for those countries and huge for the sport, honestly.
Yeah, it would be. All right, well, we are going to get out of here. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in a couple days in the next video. Peace.
Peace.